Hello everybody, I'm wolf80207 and it's time for another wolf80207 reviews. Now, I was going to review State of Decay for the Xbox 360, but another game has come up. Now, just to do a quick review of State of Decay, it's a very good game. It seems to force like MMO features though, where there shouldn't be MMO features, and doesn't go all the way with it. Like, on one instance, it will charge you about 25% more for the gear that you put into your locker to get the gear back out. And they charge you in-game points, which is fine and all that, but that's so an MMO trick right there. And then the instances that they don't, they basically don't allow you to party up, and they don't allow you to do a lot of stuff. Also, no multiplayer. But all in all, it's a pretty decent game, and it's a very good zombie survival game for the single player. I highly recommend you guys check it out. 7 out of 10. Oh, another quick one on my rating scale. It goes from 0 to 10, with 5 being average. So 7 is a good game. Now, on to the game that I want to review this time. It's Shadowrun for the PC. Or should I say Shadowrun Returns for the PC. That is like the biggest flop for me, this game. I like it, but I can't force myself to honestly bring this on to other people. And here's why. This game is generic. I mean, even though it's Shadowrun, it has spells, cyber implants, guns. For all intents and purposes, it should be as ungeneric as possible, and it still comes off to me as very generic, very just bleh. And I really don't like that very much. So that's kind of a downer. Also, the combat kind of feels a little bit XCOM-ish, but it's not as detailed in the graphics department as XCOM, and it's not as so strategy evolving as XCOM. Literally, if you're a certain karma level, you could just stand right out in the middle and just shoot whoever the hell you want. You don't even have to spec yourself up like a street samurai. You could just literally mow down everybody with spells. So on the difficulty level, especially for the main campaign, it's really not all that good. But I still find myself really liking this game. And the reason why is it's Shadowrun. It seems to be like a really Shadowrun-y title. It's really hard to describe without like pointing to the Genesis or the SNES versions. It just feels like this is an environment that Shadowrun could have thrived in, but it never really got around to being like, oh yeah, this is the best Shadowrun game ever. I totally love it. We should totally check it out later. No. It's not like that. It just feels like they didn't try as hard as they needed to. I mean, you can see it all over this game. You can see it, like, whenever you can see it in the combat. You can see it in the lack of tutorial for the editor. You can see it in the lack of tutorial. You can see it in a lot of aspects in this game that just feel under-realized, and it just feels lazy at points. And this does not feel like a comeback title. This feels like a title that you'd throw out there to be like, this will tide them over till the next Call of Duty. That's what it feels like. It feels like a interim Call of Duty title to me. And it doesn't feel like they tried as hard as they could as this was their major comeback title. This was the thing that was going to set them apart from everybody else. No, this just feels like a really lazy attempt. I mean, you see it written all over the game, even in the skills, even in the AP that you use. That's virtually not connected to anything. It's just connected to the storylines. I've actually had to find that one out the hard way, is that it's actually connected to the storylines. It's not connected to your quickness, it's not connected to anything else apparently. It's connected to the storyline, which I feel isn't right. And they were going for a more PnP feel, and with the 2D perspective that they went with, I also feel like that could have been a hell of a lot better. They could have, like, went with the 2.5D perspective, and I know they were saying, oh, well, 3D would have been too hard to do, but a 2.5D, that wouldn't have been that big of a file. Really, it wouldn't have. You could have coded that pretty easily. I've seen countless other freaking people do this. I don't understand what makes these guys different. I've seen this done, like, way back in PS2 era. I mean, this is years back, and I've seen this done better. I mean, RPG Maker has done this shit better. I've seen better editors that have been better explained in hentai games. Hentai games. So, ultimately, what this comes off to me is just lazy. This comes off as a lazy, shallow attempt by Harebrained Studios. And that's sad. That really is sad. I was really freaking rooting for them and going, oh, come on, let's just knock it out of the park. But they dropped the ball, I guess. So, the thing is, I still like the game. I still like the Shadowrun environment. I still like what you could do with it. But they don't include multiplayer. They don't include things that you need for this. I almost want to call it a kind of genre, where they just give you a bare bones game, kind of like Halo Reach, and they depend a lot on UGC, but you actually have a lot of fun with it. Because Halo Reach, you could still go back to SWAT whenever you're done. This game, you could go back to, like, the 6-hour campaign that you go play by yourself when you're done editing. If you could figure out the editor. Because for the life of me, I still can't even get a test stage. I can't even get a test stage to work. Now, if I had hours and hours to work on it, maybe I might be able to get a test stage, but I don't. Believe it or not, even though I play video games, even though I watch anime, even though I do all this other stuff, I still have other responsibilities I have to do. I don't have time to go out and bang away to guess how this fucking thing is going to work. So, what I'm trying to say overall is that this seems like a very lazy attempt by Harebrained Studios to release a game. And it also includes things like Kickstarter, pre-order DLC, which I really don't like. I don't like Day 1 DLC, so I sure as fuck don't like Day 0 DLC. Whenever you're not even playing, you haven't even really gotten the thing together and you're already playing in the DLC. To me, that's just fucked up. It really is. And I truly think they could have done a hell of a lot better job than this.
Okay. I'm going to dispense out a couple of tips for those of you who still actually go out and play the game. Because, you know, this game isn't horrible, but at the same time, I don't really think too many people should play it, especially if you're new to the Shadowrun series. That's neither here nor there, though. This is just a couple of gameplay tips to help you out. The first tip is something that's not covered in the instruction booklet. Riggers cannot be shamans. There's just things in there that prevent riggers from being shamans. Like, if your drones get destroyed, oh yeah, you can summon up shaman spirits all day after you're done being dumb shocked or null shocked, as all riggers get whenever they destroy their stuff. So, also, just as a little side note, avoid being a rigger if you can. Like, the drones that get deployed out, believe me, they're a lot more hassle than they're worth. If you really want to deploy out some stuff and really take advantage of that, be a shaman. It's 10 times better. Second, money does not transfer from game to game to game. Basically, if you start up a brand new game in a brand new area, you will always start at zero. It doesn't matter if you had $50 million on the last one, you will always start at zero. It's very important to remember. The gear sometimes will not always start at zero, but the money definitely will. Third and final tip, pistols. Now, I'm just going to throw this out here as a word of warning for all those who aren't really following all the UGC out there. But I've noticed, like in Shadowrun Unlimited and stuff like that, where they start to integrate more and more and more into pistols. And if you're looking for a secondary weapon, I'm not saying they have to be your primary weapon, but if you're looking for a secondary weapon, they're a pretty good weapon to go with. On top of that, they're kinda gonna be in the forefront for UGC like Shadowrun Unlimited. So, you might want to actually spend skill points into it rather than, not. Well, that's all the tips I have for you right now, and, well, I guess we should get back to the review.
So, even though I like the game, even though I'm kind of a Shadowrun fan, and how I became a Shadowrun fan, it's kind of a little venture in itself. I became a Shadowrun fan from originally, I was playing the game as a kid, and I got kind of hooked on the Genesis version, and later on, me and Shogun, we were going to do this review that featured all the Shadowruns, before Shadowrun Returns even came out. So I had to learn all the rest of these Shadowruns and play all of them, and it was really super fun. And then the review fell through, but I still had all this knowledge still left. So whenever I came out here, I was like, oh my god, perfect opportunity, this shit's gonna be fun. But this is what the fuck they give us. A sorry, sad attempt as compared to what we normally expect. I really can't sit over here and say, this is absolutely the best Shadowrun has ever been. I'd say the best Shadowrun that has ever been, just in terms of like open world environment, it's got to be the Genesis version still. And if you're still getting clowned on by the Genesis version, I'm sorry, but this is a sad attempt by comparison. So, as a reviewer, even though I like the game, I still got to give it the score that I know it deserves. And I got to give it a below average score, 4 out of 10. I can't give it a 3 out of 10 because it's not a buggy, glitch, fucking screwed up game like that. Even though in the second act, the story and the gameplay mechanics weren't playtested very well and it kind of falls apart, it's still a good enough game by its own merit with the editor for me to say, yeah, go out and buy this game if you're a Shadowrun fan. However, if you're not a Shadowrun fan, there are plenty other opportunities that are $20 right now that you could go buy just virtually most old games for $20. Hell, I got Time Splitters Future Perfect. It has a way better map editor than this. That was $20. If you have a PlayStation 2, go ahead and grab it. It's really good. I grabbed Atlas games, which shouldn't happen. I grabbed those for like $20 sometimes. And there's even a Final Fantasy VII at Steam Store. $20. Don't even get me started on like GOG games or anything like that, because I can think of several recommendations I could give out that are much better than spending your money on this game. However, if you are a Shadowrun fan, it's still Shadowrun. And if you're a Shadowrun fan, you understand that. You understand that it's still Shadowrun, and I'm going to enjoy myself whether I like it or not. There's not that much media out there. There's some media out there, but there's not enough, like, really digital video games out there. Enough to really say, oh yeah, stay away from this. I really gotta say, I like it. If you're a Shadowrun fan, then I'd say it's like a 5 out of 10. But if you're anybody else, it's a 4 out of 10. It's a below average game for everybody else. And that's pretty sad. It's pretty sad to see Harebrained Studios do this and do what they're doing in terms of business. It's a sad and shallow attempt at conducting business right now, and I don't expect good things from them in the future. I really don't, because just seeing what they did with this, no, I don't see any good things coming out of the future. I really don't. But this ends my Shadowrun Returns video. I'm wolf80207, and I'll see you guys on the next wolf80207 reviews, where I think I'm going to be reviewing something big, since I haven't had a chance to do something big. Though I might need some help. I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm wolf80207, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.